52 Traders, episode 53.
Because learning to trade is about learning to press buttons at certain times. But learning to make money is more about putting capital to work where it's most likely going to succeed without my personal intervention or supervision constantly.
Over the next year, your host, Cam Hawkins, gets inside the minds of 52 of the world's best traders to find out if he has what it takes to become one of them. Join Cam every week on the 52 Traders podcast or at 52traders.com to learn how to trade like the pros. This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not investment, trading, or financial advice of any kind. Trading is very risky and could lose you all of your capital. Any comments about historical performance are not an indication of future results.
What's up, traders? Welcome to another installment of the 52 Traders podcast. Now, look, it took me ages to try and record this intro, so I ended up throwing it over to my wife. She sort of forced it upon me, but here she is introducing this episode of the 52 Traders podcast. Enjoy.
Good morning, callers. This is Zoe, the wife of Cam Hawkins, #1 Forex trader extraordinaire. Now, what you don't understand is that I have to sit in the front room very quietly while Cam does these recordings, and it's extremely annoying because I want to watch Coronation Street, so I'm here to do the introduction for you. This is a show with Rob Booker. And this was somebody that Cam Hawkins found very difficult to contact. I don't know why, but Cam seems to think so. Just before we get on to the show, I want to tell you all about the time I went to the dentist. Last week I sat in the chair and this chair was very funny. Most chairs go up and down, but this one went in and out and in and out, and the dentist came in and said, "Mrs. Hawkins, get out of the filing cabinet." I thought I'd share that with you before we move on to the show. So here we are, Rob Booker. Enjoy.
Okay, welcome, Rob. Thanks for joining me here on the 52 Traders podcast this week.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Okay, Rob, so look, I've mentioned some of your highlights already, and I know that's just a small part of your story. So can you tell the listeners a bit more about you personally and what first attracted you to trading?
All right. I'm super happy to be here. And all right, so my name is Rob, and I've been trading for about 17 years now, 16 of which was primarily discretionary trading. And when I first got into trading, I remember how excited I was, enthralled even, just so excited about putting the pieces of the puzzle together, exploring this idea of essentially creating money out of nothing, right? Speculating. I just essentially make a bet online and electronic impulses run through my computer and suddenly I could have more money than when I started with. In other words, like gambling, but I didn't want to admit it. But
Yeah.
I think I was attracted to trading for that gambling type element to it. And I needed the money. I did not want to practice law. And I had some other things that I probably could have done for work, but trading I was so attracted to trading because it was elusive and it was something I could do any time of the day. And there were all these dreams that I was suddenly allowed to have, like make money out of thin air, live wherever, travel whenever I wanted, all these, like, I know that I can admit this now. Back then I probably said something like, I justified it or rationalized it and said, well, it's legitimate and you can actually tell where price is going if you do your homework. And, I don't know. I said all the things that everybody always says, but I wanted to make some money. I needed to make money. I wasn't going to practice law, and I found myself pursuing trading for a living as if that was something that I could actually do.
And was there a specific moment where you thought, actually, trading's the thing that I'm going to focus on now? Was there any sort of turning point where you're like, one day I didn't know about trading, the next day I'm going to learn about this stuff?
Well, I went to law school in the San Francisco Bay Area, and my wife at the time, now my ex-wife, was working at Bear Stearns, and she worked in this division of Bear Stearns where they cleared the trades for hedge funds. So there was a whole floor in a building at 1 Sansom Street in San Francisco, and on this floor Bear Stearns acted as a prime broker to hedge funds, and there were at least 20 hedge funds on one floor, just two men working in a shop by themselves, or a husband and wife team, or a team of 6 people who traded together, and they cleared trades for everybody. And I used to bring flowers or lunch or whatever up to her office when I was ditching class at law school, and I would walk by these offices, and I was just fascinated by the money. It's just the sheer amount of money, and just the numbers, I think, got me at first. And so there was this feeling in the back of my mind in the mid-1990s that I was really attracted to this. And so I had dinner with a stockbroker and a bunch of his friends, and he said, you got to read Thomas Dorsey's Point and Figure Charting. So I got that book, and I got a graph paper with the little squares, and I would do point and figure charts for about 3 days. And I was like, this is the dumbest thing ever. This is not happening fast enough for me. I bought the book, and I was really fascinated by it. And then I kind of dropped it until a few years later when I knew I wasn't going to practice law, and I was out of law school, and I was trying to make ends meet, and it was like the year 2000, 2001. And I remember sitting at the dining room table, which was actually just a table sitting in our living room because we had this really small house. And I was working on a computer, and I remember looking at the charts on Oanda, and I remember watching the prices change in the currency market. And I said, well, this is open 24 hours a day. I can read this chart. This isn't like point and figure charting. I can do this. And I remember that was the moment, Cam. Like that, I remember looking at those and saying, I don't care what it takes or what I have to figure out. I could do this. And I know there was no justification for that, mind you. It's like, like some power or influence outside of my own body was just like, I was like, this is it. I'm going to do this. And of course, like I said, I made that decision very easily, but the consequences of that decision were anything but simple.
Yeah, and I think everyone I certainly had the same sort of thought process there, where something triggered your interest, and then you sort of looked at it and thought, "Hang on a sec, I can do this. This is achievable," and then the story unfolds after that, obviously. So I know you've got quite a bit online that you do with your own community, and I've seen some of your videos. So what do you do outside of trading? Okay, so that was the first part of the show. Now, to hear the full episode, the best bits, join the family at 52traders.com. They usually go for about 45 minutes to an hour long, and trust me, these shows are great. They give us so much insight. Now, if you want to get there quickly, all you need to do is jump into the show description on your phone, and there's a link taking you directly to 52traders.com, where you can join the family over there and listen to the full episode. Now, in the rest of the show, I cover off what my traders do differently from the rest of us. So what is it that they're doing that we're not doing? What their typical trading day looks like, what they would do if they had a day job now and wanted to trade for a living, their preferred trading strategy, so actually how does it work, what we should be educating ourselves on when we're looking at a price chart, so what indicators we should use, what price levels, what chart patterns, all those sorts of things. Also, we touch on fundamentals as well, so how do we use news to our advantage? Trading psychology, tips, tricks, techniques, we go through those. Exiting trades, managing trades that you've got running, so we talk about their strategies. They give you strategies for exiting and managing trades. Books to read, websites to visit, all the best ones. Something that you should try and master over the next month, the broker and platform they use. And finally, last but not least, they give us a full trading strategy, so something you guys can try out at home on your PC this week in the markets if you wish. Now, to get the full episode, you need to jump onto 52traders.com, join the family. As I said, it usually goes on for 45 minutes to an hour, and there's a link in the show description, so if you're on your phone, just jump on there, tap the link, and it'll take you straight to 52traders.com. Now, if you're thinking about learning to automate any of your trading, hiring a developer, learning to code, that sort of thing, then before you do that, jump onto my other website, automatemytrading.com. So if you're interested in automating some or all of your trading, then jump onto automatemytrading.com and you'll see me over there. For now, to hear the rest of this episode, all you need to do is click on the link in the show description or go to 52traders.com. See you there.